All right, guys, welcome back to the Play On Podcast. This is Jesse and Jerry. This is episode number 95. Huge, huge weekend. Shout out the Bears. They won their game. Almost gave me a heart attack, but Jesse didn't have such a good weekend after that game because we had Barcelona versus Real Madrid, and of course, the best team comes out on top. But it was a really fun match, Jesse. I don't know about you, but obviously you probably have a different feeling towards it, but. That first half was insane.
Yeah,
Like it was unpredictable.
the first half was great. I think it was classic El Clasico. Like it was back and forth.
It was a
We both
FIFA match.
we both had chances. We both moments of magic. Uh, like the second goal, especially for Barcelona, the Pedri assist to Lewandowski, great pass, great chip. Vini goal was great. Koundé getting cooked.
I know. He was getting cooked all game, dude. And yeah, Vinicius started showing a lot of life. I think that first goal gave him a lot of confidence, and ever since then he was playing really well. But we'll just get started. So starting off the match, Jesse, did you like Real Madrid's defensive approach? There was
Yeah,
like no pressure.
I felt like it was the smartest method that Xabi Alonso had at the time because coming into the match. A, the team was more tired than Barcelona just because of the opponent we had. You guys had a cakewalk with Athletic Club, a
Yeah, those
5-0.
first yeah, 5-0 first four goals helped a lot too.
You guys basically got to relax and basically got an extra rest day because of that. While we had to stress out a game against Atletico Madrid and basically we lost our uh Rudiger, who basically forced himself for that game, couldn't play against Barca. Asensio picked up a knock and also had to be subbed out. So for this game, Xabi Alonso knew that his defensive line was going to be a struggle with, and especially with the form that Barca was coming into, especially with Rafinha, because he looks like he's back to his best after his injury layoff. So he realized that if Ramaju's gonna have any chance in this game, he's gonna have to set him up for a counterattack, which the players know how to suffer. Like they've done this for years now with Carlo Ancelotti and even before then. So I completely understand why he did it, and I felt like it set up the team to be able to do that. Because this is also the way when we saw Vinny at his best, when he goes at space and attacks it, has Rodrigo next to him to create chances. And this time they had an actual number nine, set up a presence, split those defenders, those center backs, and put pressure on them because he actually would press.
Yeah, I was very shocked to see how they were playing because they were putting no press to Barcelona at all. They were just letting Barcelona have all the whole ball, which I think in the end helped them out. I think Barcelona was not prepared to have that much of the ball. They were expecting more of a press because again, how Xabi Alonso plays. He likes, getting the ball in the final third. Um, so I think Barcelona came out really slow. Again, it shocked them how slow they were playing. So they were passing the ball really slow. Real Madrid did have less possession, but they had the most dangerous attacks in the first half. But this is before the goals. Yeah, they had like two clear chances. Just because of that, again, Barca was just playing super slow, and Real Madrid, as soon as they got the ball, just straight off right away. And it's cool to see that Vinicius and Rodrigo can work off of each other, and same thing with Gonzalo, like you said, they splits the defenders. So like those three just single-handedly were creating so many chances. Um, but then the cooling break happened, Jesse, and everything changed. Hansi Flick gave the directions, and Barcelona broke the defensive shape for Real Madrid, and that's how the first goal came along. Um, but yeah, first goal was who? Rafinha, right?
Yeah, it was actually a mistake from Jude because he lost it in midfield, and then afterwards they passed it to Rafinha because he actually before that Rafinha had
He
a
missed a
sitter.
chance. Yeah.
He missed one that you would expect him to hit. He fluffed it, and then from then, Real Madrid had control of the ball, but then Jude lost it in the midfield. I can't remember if he was trying to pass or he was just dispossessed.
He was dispossessed by Fermin.
Yeah, and then they basically sent it to Rafinha, and then he just hit the more difficult one really against Courtois.
Yeah, you would expect him to pass the ball because it was Lewandowski on the other side, and same thing with Lamine. He was wide open on the right side, but this guy's like, whatever, I'm gonna get my get back and just get a shot on target, and it was a banger. But that was short-lived.
No, Because it was like 30th minute. Real Madrid didn't score until like the
Oh, the
44th,
45th, yeah.
fourth. Yeah. So there was a
But
equal some time.
even then, Barcelona kept like again after the cooling break, they scored the goal and then they kept mounting pressure and getting a bunch of shots. I think after that they got like three more or two more shots. I know it was the Lamine one and then the Fermin one that they both shot directly at the Courtois. So they were getting chances. And then Eddie Garcia, he started trying to play through balls to Lewandowski. He did it twice. So the first one, again, did a through ball. They lost possession, but they got it back right away. Second time, he had reattended the exact same play. Through ball to Lewandowski. So Lewandowski plays the post. We get this possessed, and that's where they just shoot the ball up to Vinicius, and Vinicius does his magic and cooks Kunde and scores the banger, to be honest. That's an incredible solo goal that he scored.
Yeah, it was like moment of magic. That's what we usually expect or we've seen from them, especially Vinny. Like before the whole Ballon d'Oro situation happened, where he would. I felt like he was doing it more consistently, and this is like the first time we've seen it in like a couple years now. And it was great to see. He attacked Jules Koundé, and then instead of because you might have expected him to defer because that's what he sort of has been doing to Mbappe recently, deferring to him. But because he wasn't there, I felt like he had the confidence to go for it and like shoot it, and he scored a goal.
Yeah, that's what I didn't want to happen because then again, Vinicius just gains up so much confidence off of that. And especially it's an incredible goal. I think they tried to foul in the midfield, they couldn't. I think Koundé should have just fouled Vinicius on the left wing at that time, just so he doesn't get again gain confidence because that after that he started being more dangerous. But in the second half, he started being more dangerous because after that, legit Barcelona scored a goal pretty much almost instantly.
Yeah,
How much you were caught sleeping? Pedri just plays a through ball Lewandowski, vintage Lewandowski, by the way, just chips it over Courtois on the four post.
yeah, it was a good pass and it was a good finish because Pedri took advantage of Tchouaméni's positioning because he
Hmm.
was too lax off of Lewandowski, and that's what happens when you have to play your CDM at center back because you know there's no other healthy options or no one else you trust.
Yeah, definitely. But again, short-lived because Real Madrid got a corner before the end of the half, and Hoyton almost scores an incredible header, but Rafinha just jumps and heads it out, but your boy Gonzalo Garcia just I don't think it's a tap in at all. But he
No,
as he's falling, he hits the ball and it goes pretty much top bins on the left side.
yeah, because who else was there?
There was Pedri. Pedri was right on him.
Uh, uh, no, no, I mean like on the other side of the other, like the other post
Oh,
of,
it was Frankie de Jong.
yeah, and because he also tried to like also jump up and head it out, but it was just perfectly there.
So that pretty much sums up the first half. If you've never seen it, that's like probably the most hectic first half. And it was again, it shows what La Liga is. Um, But oh my God, that was so frustrating because again, Barca was so dominant and they just have those two chances and they score. Well, not those two, but they have chances and they score them, which sucks. But what can you do? At halftime, Jesse, what did you think was going to happen? And
At
what did you
halftime,
want to see?
I was worried because, like I said, the bench options there weren't that many, and the ones that were there didn't fit what the current team was set up to do.
Mhm.
Because with like Arda Güler and Mastantuono, they can do like counterattacking football, but that's not what they're best at. And having to bring them in is like changing the style already, which the team has been set up for. But also, I was wondering how long the defense was going to last, especially Howson,
Mhm.
because he is coming back from a long injury layoff and he basically forced himself to play his final. So I was wondering how long he's going to be able to last out there. And also, as we've seen with like Vini and Rodrigo, that they had to make those runs a lot. They do get tired quickly in the second half, and how much can Mbappe like actually give?
Yeah. At halftime, I was worried as well because yeah, again, I think Barca should have had like at least two-goal lead at that point. Um, Real Madrid was clearly in it, and if anything, being tied, they're gonna try to force penalties. And yeah, as soon as the second half started, it was like Real Madrid started pressing more higher up. and it was a hard game to break down. The rhythm kept getting broken because Real Madrid kept fouling. Same thing with Barcelona; they kept getting fouls. Um, yeah, it was so weird. And even then, when Barcelona finally did break Real Madrid, I won't even say break, but it was a deflection goal from Rafinha.
Yeah, but
It was like I was like, okay, we get to feel a little bit relaxed because now Real Madrid has to go forward and open up. And yeah, even then I was terrified because your boy Ronald Araujo decided to come on in the second half, and the joke is going around on Twitter saying that we were more terrified of Araujo coming on than Mbappe, and that is very true. I don't know what to expect of him, especially since he took like a hiatus for like what 3, 4 weeks since the Champions League match.
since the Chelsea one, yeah.
Yeah, that was like what November, so it was like 2 months.
Yeah.
And for her to come on this kind of game, it was intense. But what did you see in the second half that you didn't like?
Uh, Basically, Madrid didn't have any options because, like I said, uh, the midfield was basically overran the entire time, and they knew what's gonna happen because they only had two men there with Jude and Camavinga,
Yeah.
and basically Jude was out of gas and was basically out for it, and Rodrigo and Vinny were both like tired. And then once Valverde had to come out injured and Arda Güler came on, I was worried because basically the whole defensive structure is basically gone now that Xabi Alonso had built. They're gonna have to switch it. And then when Vinny left for Mastantuono, I'm like, okay, I can understand this. But when Mbappe came in, I was like, I was looking to see what version we were gonna get of him, what like percentage we got, and basically it was nothing.
Yeah, it really wasn't anything. I think he only touched the ball a couple times, and even then it wasn't super dangerous. Um, Again, the main danger man was Vinicius, but even then, I told you before we started the episode, they still created chances. Frankie de Jong got a red card for a really bad tackle on Mbappe. He got him on his knee. There's no complaints about it at my end. That's definitely a red. Um, he missed the ball, just got his knee and too high. Obviously, it didn't hurt him because he still played out the game, but sucks. And then that's where Real Madrid's pressure started mounting, and they got like very clear chances, dude. One of them, Carreras, clearly in front of the goal, and he passed it back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah. I feel like it was just it's one of those months where the player gets too excited and he thought too much about it because he had time, which is unfortunate, and he just didn't know what to do with it. And then the other one was Raul Asensio, and he basically just headed it back to John Garcia.
But that one was more difficult. A header is harder
Yeah,
than in front of goal. And even I was talking about it with my dad. I think because the Carreras chance, Many had a chance to shoot it too, but he let it pass. And I
yeah,
think Carreras had too much time because he wasn't expecting it to be
yeah.
passed. And even then, if Carreras didn't want to shoot it, they had the whole right side because I think Mbappe was there, and same thing with Jude. No, I don't think Mbappe was
No,
there.
no, Mbappe was at the edge of the box.
Yeah, and that's what people were complaining too. Like, hey, you're a striker, go inside.
But that's what people complain about. But I'm like, this is what he does in every corner because he
Hmm.
doesn't go for headers. He goes to the edge of the box.
Yeah. So, yeah, shout out to Carreras for that back pass because Jesus, and even the header, dude, like that's so much danger in that minimum amount of time. I think if Barcelona and Real Madrid go to, was there extra times or was it
No,
straight to penalties?
straight up penalties.
Straight up penalties would that's what Real Madrid wanted. They just wanted penalties. If there was extra time, by the way, Real Madrid definitely would have won. And if again they had to convert the goal first and then extra
Yeah.
times, but yeah, they would have won. But oh man, overall thoughts on the match, Jesse? Would you would you rate it? How would you rate it?
I feel like it was one of the better El Clásicos that we've seen in a while. It was very back and forth. I actually really enjoyed the first half. Second half was more of a show because I felt like the players didn't really get a second win until the red card. Uh, but besides that, I felt like it was tactically wise good for Xabi Alonso. It was a good game to show like what he can do as a manager and show up that he a clear underdog for like he could bring a clear underdog to face Barcelona who were very much favorites.
That's not what I was hearing before the match. I know you're more objectives. You would have obviously said Real Madrid are the underdogs. Well, actually, no. Rubio had also said it that Real Madrid were gonna get killed and they weren't ready. Again, you're objective, but other people on Twitter, the people that like to make their money and grift and say Real Madrid is the best team at the moment, we're saying otherwise.
Don't get me started on those people, Jerry. You know how I feel about them.
But yeah, I thought this is definitely a classical. These past couple of classicos, I think we've been getting blessed, Jesse. They're pretty good matches, very intense. That rivalry's still right there, and they're pushing each other, fighting. Yeah, it's obviously one of the better ones. It also feels good to be on top and win a title off of that, because even though how like even Xabi Alonso dismissed it, saying it's a small title, the less important one, it's still a title nonetheless against your biggest rival, so it feels good. But yeah, I did have a question for you, dude, about Jude Bellingham.
Hmm.
He had 20 touches. I think what was it, 20 touches all game, and Juan Garcia had 24, or vice versa, something like that. In the second half, he was inexistent, Jesse. What happened?
Uh, like I said, he was gassed out, and I felt like there's a lot of complaints I could have about Jude, but I feel like uh the touches and that really didn't come into it because with the tactical plan, we weren't gonna get much of the ball. I think in total we only had like 200 passes to like what Barca had was like 600 or something like that.
Yeah.
There was also another stat where the most progressive passer was Courtois. So I'm not really too upset with those type of stats because I know what Drew was doing in the first half was like he knew he was going to get overran in that midfield and he was just trying to cover as much as he could and being a fighter because that 5-9 was not going to move from where they were and basically him and Camavinga were going to have to be the shield that would go around and cover for any long shots or like any defender coming in or midfielder coming in for Barca.
Yeah, and even in the first half, it looked like Jude was the one trying to what is it, control the tempo from the match and bringing the ball all the way up from the back. But I feel like that I don't feel like I that's not his strong suit at all. He doesn't move the ball forward. That should be more of a job of Camavinga, in my opinion. I think he does it so well. But yeah, and even in the second half when Guler came on, they try to make Guler do that and be the guy that brings up the ball from the half. That's definitely a problem Real Madrid has right now. They gotta buy a player. I know they're eyeing Vitinha, or that name keeps being thrown around, and I think it would solve a lot of the issues. But yeah, Jude's game again, I think he's more of a secondary striker, and that's what he's good at, or just like a forward player. I don't think he's that good at like defending and blocking shots like that. That's more of a Chouameni thing, but when Chouameni has to play center back, it's
Yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do. But for you, who was the man of the match?
I probably have to say Rafinha because he was the most dangerous
What
overall.
what about for Real Madrid?
For Real Madrid, man of the match. I know most people would probably say Vinny.
Hmm.
I'll give it to Vinny because that everyone else kind of was there, but th he just had the moment and he was the offensive spark plug. Like Gonzalo Garcia got his goal, but he wasn't creating much chances for others while Vinny was. So I'll give it to Vinny.
Gonzalo Garcia also did have a like one-on-one with the keeper, and he kind of rushed the shot too. So he had those two chances. But yeah, I gotta go with Rafinha, man of the match. Same thing with Real Madrid. Finishes, he was so dangerous. I would also kind of throw up the Rodrigo because he was doing a lot of the dirty work. It's same thing, like coming all the way back and
Yeah, he was
defending,
defending and attacking.
pressing pretty
That's
well.
what I was thinking, but I just felt like he was just missing take-ons.
Hmm.
I felt like he didn't do enough taking on defenders, especially after Vinny left, because they basically left him left wing to go attack Jules Koundé, but he wasn't doing it. He was probably gassed at that point, but I just felt like that was what was lacking. He was great in set pieces again, but I just felt like he needed to be that more, take on it. And also I felt like he was missing a shot. I don't think he took a shot this game.
No, I can't even think of the last time he took one. If anything he did, he probably got it blocked. No, he did have that one shot, but it was like weak to the far post.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jesse. So after the match, Barcelona was celebrating. The tradition in Spain is to the guard of honor.
Yeah.
Xabi Alonso was there. Asensio was there, and same thing. Hoyton, he was making his way over there, but Mbappe told them to fuck that, come back.
Yeah, and I know a lot of I saw a lot of Madrid fans saying, "Oh, well, Barca didn't do that for Real Madrid." but that was a completely different scenario. That was when like Xavi said, that's doesn't happen when they're because it was for La Liga, and then when they like had won it early, and so they weren't gonna do it because of that. And I feel like that's understandable, like for La Liga, but for like the Spanish Super Cup or like Copa del Rey, this has always been done. Even though if you want to do it, you got uh where is it? You guys man up and take the pain from it. Like this is what happens because you didn't win. Like this is on you,
Hmm.
and you just gotta show that. And they didn't want to do it. Like I understand being hurt and being upset that you lost, but you gotta
The
at minimum
sportsmanship in it.
at minimum do that because it's been done multiple times. It's not like, oh, they could be like, oh, we've never done that. Like we've literally done it. Like
They did it
they
last year.
last year they did it, and then you guys did it for us 2 years from that. Like, but it's just
But the message is sent, Jesse. A player telling the coach, "We're not doing that. Come back." And that had implications, Jesse. And Xabi Alonso has been fired from Real Madrid. Oh, it was a mutual departure.
Well, he was fired because he basically fired he quit in the way how he basically told because after the match he was with Jose Angel Maria, I believe. I, I might be mixing up the name, but he's basically like VP for Real Madrid because he went there and flew back on the plane with him, and they were basically discussing the aftermath of the game, the analytics and performance and things like that. And then he went to the board, and then he was having a talk, and then Perez, he's been pushing for Pintus. He's the fitness coach. He was a former fitness coach for Real Madrid, but Xabi Alonso brought in his own and was basically like, "Oh, it's fine. You could keep on going, but you're gonna have to get him involved." And also other changes that were going to happen to his staff. And he said, "You don't touch my staff. I've made concessions along the way. I've allowed some, some power play from you guys, all these politics aside, but I'm not going to let you touch my coaching staff." And was basically fired because of that. And
Yeah,
then he also told the board, he's like, "You guys give the players too much power." He
yeah.
was basically done with it all. He was done with the politics. He was done with the players. He was even done with the fans because everyone was saying that it was a bad display from Real Madrid, that it wasn't how they play in the South Clasico, and it's just like ridiculous.
No, to say that like it's not how they play in the Clásico because they were playing defensive is idiotic because we saw it from Ancelotti and again he was successful with it. He's won Champions League with it. He's won La Ligas with like playing like that, super defensive and then just throw the ball up to Benzema and let Benzema, Rodrigo, and Vinicius cook. It's insane. Yeah, I thought the reason they parted ways because it was more because of the player power with Mbappe like undermining the coach and like again it's very disrespectful to just ignore your coach. Um, I thought that's what it was. I didn't know that the whole play was like him Perez trying to force his staff into his Xabi Alonso's staff, which is crazy.
Yeah, it was
Um,
just it was that, and also just accumulation of everything.
yeah. So again, they weren't trending too far because again, how many matches did they not win? What was it like four?
I think so.
And then
He
they won like two La Liga games in a row, and then they
they
won Atletico, and then now they lost.
before this loss to Barca, they were on a 5 game win streak.
Damn. So not an easy thing. So it's a lot of politics, especially when it comes to those big clubs. The new appointed manager seems to be it's Arbeloa.
Yeah, from
Um,
Castilla. His
n-
first big first team job.
and that's what I was thinking. Like, if the players didn't respect uh Xabi Alonso like that or were undermining him, what makes them think again? And a Xabi Alonso that won with Leverkusen, who's never won a title before.
Who had a perfect season in the Bundesliga, beat Bayern, got them all the way to almost a perfect treble, only failing with the Europa League with the Leverkusen side. And this is the problem uh that happens because he was supposed to get all this power because well also think about it. He had this great TV for a manager coming in with like Leverkusen. showing that technically wise that he's got it down. And then also he has the reputation as a former player who was a great player. He won the World Cup. He won the Champions League with Madrid
Yeah, it's very decorated.
completely, and yet the players didn't respect him. So how is that going to go with Arbeloa, who sure he was there and has was a good player, but not to the level of Xabi Alonso.
Same
And
thing. He just trains. I would say kids at this point, but I know there's some adults in Castilla, but it's straight up the youth team.
yeah, he hasn't coached a first division team.
So it just doesn't make any sense. And even then, I was like, who was I discussing with? I was discussing with someone about if Xabi Alonso does leave, who do they even replace as a coach? It's kind of hard. Who's going to want to take on that job? If anyone, it has to be like someone, it has to be a big name, Jesse. Someone that commands respect. Again, Ancelotti being the easiest one, or even Zidane. But at this, other than that, like I couldn't tell you who. Are they going to go back to Mourinho? Probably not, because that relationship is destroyed.
It's funny because a lot of reports some coming out or like a lot of people are saying are surprised at have like the emoji surprise face that like oh Caesar's not coming back to like save Madrid. Like what did you expect? It's been known and it's been categorized that he is waiting for this French job this summer after the World Cup that he's gonna get and he's gonna be the French coach. He's not coming back to Real Madrid to save him. And so it's funny when I see reports of like some players in the dressing room surprised that he's not coming back, and even some fans are like, a lot of fans are surprised that he won't come back. I'm like, it's dumb.
Yeah. So with Arbeloa, what can you expect, Jesse?
Uh, he's similar to Xabi. He had some similar tactics. That's why when they're presented, they're like, oh, it should be conveyor belt of Castilla players potentially being able to play for the first team because they have similar styles, but there's multiple reports going about of what type of uh mold he's going to follow, the Carlo Ancelotti mold, the Jose Mourinho mold, the Jurgen Klopp mold that he follows a similar Klopp method of gen pressing, which I don't know how that's going to work out because that's even more intense pressing than what Xabi Alonso was trying to implement, and Xabi Alonso couldn't get that. So how is he going to do that? Like, there's so many things. At this point, I won't know what type of tactics and coach he's going to be until I see it firsthand. Because right now he is a great unknown with these players.
Yeah, and I don't know if he survives the whole season.
I think they're going to ride it out with him, and I think they're going to wait until the summer to get the big fish, which is the one that Perez wants, which is the big name in Jurgen Klopp. But like I said, how is that going to work out? Because his whole idea when he was in Liverpool was of this gen pressing style of constantly running and like putting pressure on the opposing team. That worked out in Liverpool because he had the players to do that, and they bought into the system, and they were all having asthma. How is that can work out in Real Madrid when these players won't do that for Xabi Alonso?
Yeah, and again, a club legend, decorated player, has a great resume as a manager to do it for Jurgen Klopp, who obviously again great manager, but to do even more pressing, more intense trainings, it's tough. It's tough. That's why I'm thinking again. I was right, and Xabi Alonso getting fired. I just got the wrong month. I said it was gonna be December. It was January. I think Arbeloa is not gonna last 2 months. I think he gets fired towards the end of March, beginning of April, because I don't think again the players are not gonna buy in to this whole system.
That's where I would differ. The only thing is that it's not because they're gonna buy in, it's because they have to, because there's no one else to blame but them at this point. Because
Yeah.
people were turning on them and they turned it back up a bit just so the eyes would turn away from them. So now there's no excuses or no they have no more excuses for why they should be losing because they got rid of what was the problem per se. And so now if they're faulty or they fall off form, it's on them.
How many matches do you think it'll take for you to be like, okay, this guy's a good manager? He's got X amount of games in a row. He's won X amount of games, lost X amount of games. What do you think?
Uh I I don't know. I think it doesn't really matter because the mood or like the way people perceive it is all that matters because that's what the perception or the public pushed for Xabi Alonso because remember, he started off undefeated in La Liga, was having a great start until he lost against Atletico Madrid, and then everyone turned on him. And that was like 10 games in.
Yeah, it's that's why I'm like, dude, I really think this is gonna go downhill and downhill bad for Real Madrid. Again, this is just me as coming looking as an outsider because again, you have players that have too much power in the club. They start getting into an argument, and they've done it publicly. Vinicius with Xabi Alonso, he's argued with them. He's talked crap about it when he gets subbed out. How is it gonna be without Arbeloa? Like I just don't see it being good, Jesse. I think
The-
too many things are gonna go bad.
I think they're just gonna do a two-face, and then for the media and everything, they're gonna look like they get along with him and then get everything on well, but behind closed doors, they're just gonna be like do what they want. Because publicly, I think Vinny is one of the players that still hasn't like sent a message to Xabi Alonso about his sacking. And then
Oh,
another thing that I want to say is it's idiotic for these Real Madrid fans are trying to put they're trying to connect the dots saying, oh, and well, this is similar to when Zidane took over because it was Carlo Ancelotti got fired and then they put in a new coach, uh Rafa Benitez, who people are saying, oh, who people weren't too fond of. The reason why Carlo Ancelotti got fired was because Rafa Benitez is a close friend of Perez, and Perez personally pushed to have him there, and also because it was at a time when he wanted Bale to be the main star because he had recently become the world record transfer, and Perez was seeing it as like the next big project, and so Benitez personally promised that he was going to get a starting role for Bale, and that's when we had Bale play as more of like a 10 or like a cam and like center forward in the middle, and that project didn't last long. And then they're like, yeah, but then Sisu came in from La Castilla and saved everything. So this might be the same thing with Arbeloa. No. After Benitez came Solari.
and Solari didn't last until October, and then that's when Zizou came in.
Yeah.
But even then, that's the different kind of players they did have. They had I don't want to say
Wait, no, wait. I
mature,
might be wrong. Never mind.
but even then, like the players Zizou inherited, like it was what is it,
Ronaldo.
26-year-old, like they were older squad. Real Madrid's a very young squad. The oldest player is probably who, Courtois. Then it's
Yeah.
Mbappe. Oh, other than like the starters. So
Mbappe, yeah,
it's hard.
27.
Zizou had like a 27-year-old Modric, Tony Cruz, Casemiro. They had like players that are in their prime age and are willing to sacrifice the team and buy in. How are you gonna get everyone to buy in? Like especially like a young player who's you still have to develop in order for them to be good, but at the same time be at a high level to try to win titles. It's a
Oh,
weird mix.
well, also the difference between Arbeloa and Sisu is Sisu has the CV of a player that is one of the best of all time. Like he come sure he
They
was.
listen. Yeah, they
Yeah,
command and listen.
he might have been like his first year coaching Castilla and then to Real Madrid, but the difference was that he's one of the greatest of all time. He could go into the room and he commands respect because the players, he could be like, "I'm better than you," because he was,
Hmm.
and they would listen to him. But Arbeloa can't do the same, and he's in a worse situation because the squad back then was ready to compete and it made sense. This squad is deeply flawed. They still have multiple injuries. I think we're like the club that has the most injuries in La Liga this year with like 50. The midfield is completely flawed because there's no connector between the midfield to the forward or like defensive forwards because the players can't like connect passes between them. And the forward line is so flawed because Mbappe is still trying to play a striker when he clearly can't. Because we saw when Gonzalo Garcia was there, they played better football because he can actually be a number nine and play between those center backs.
And won't drift to the left.
Yeah, like currently, defense, midfield, and forward line are all deeply flawed because of problems with the players or missing personnel. So how is he going to come in and fix it when Xabi Alonso was supposed to come in and fix it, but he didn't get the players that he wanted or the players that he needed?
It's all politics, Jesse. This is what happens when you go to a club like Real Madrid. You don't have all the power, and the board makes decisions for you. Sucks for Xabi Alonso because I know you were very excited for him, but his career there came up short.
Yeah, and it's sucks because the promises that he was kept, like that he made concessions for, weren't kept by Perez just because he wouldn't play his politics with him.
Yeah,
He wouldn't go along with what he wanted. And then what sucks because he was doing exactly what I wanted, which was to rotate the squad, but that made him lose politics because Vinny and all these other players had more power than him because that's what they do. They gave him all the power. The board gave him all the power. Perez gave him all the power.
it's good here.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right, Jesse, with the firing of Xabi Alonso, what is going to happen with the players? Who's going to suffer from all this politics that are going on at the moment?
With Xabi Alonso leaving, I think the biggest loser would probably be Guler because he was finally getting the game time that he deserved and needed. Because we saw early in the year when, Xabi Alonso was still had power and some support from the board before he just gradually lost all of it. He was starting, he had the connection with Mbappe. He currently has what, 16 GA,
Hmm.
and that's with him losing time because of like again politics. So he could really have more. Like we were starting to see fulfill some of the potential that he's been showing and show that Turkey before coming to Madrid. And I think it's going to suffer because he's going to get less game time and less time to, play. Because I think if anything, they might just diminish him as a right winger and like no longer let him play in midfield or
Yeah,
center.
and it sucks to see because, of course, that connection with Mbappe was crazy, dude. I think most of his assists came from him, other than the Gonzalo Garcia one that came in last week. Um, so yeah, it sucks to see his development take or diminish at this point.
Hmm.
Um, we still gotta wait and see, but knowing Arbeloa, he's probably more than likely gonna be a puppet, you know, and the big dog upstairs. Perez gave him an opportunity, and more than likely he's just gonna listen to whatever he says. He's gonna have control of the lineup. Do you see Arda Güler leaving the squad because of it?
Potentially, I could see it because he has already gone through waiting 2 years of riding the bench of getting no game time
Hmm.
to finally seeing a glimpse. He saw the light and he saw what it could do for him. So, and I know multiple clubs have been sniffing around him. I know Arsenal were willing to offer like 90
Please,
million for him and like all these other clubs. So
please
I
no.
wouldn't be surprised if he does leave because
They're gonna have him
he
taking
does,
in throw-ins, Jesse.
I know, he does deserves to be playing consistently. So that would be a major loss. But I don't know what the current state of this is because the squad is built poorly, and I don't know how else they could do it. They run it, but for sure, selling out of the Gula would be a big mistake. Someone else who I think would be suffer greatly is Dean Howson
How so?
because he is a ball playing center back that was brought in to help Xabi Alonso implement his system where he needed a ball playing center back, and we saw him suffer because beginning of the season he was starting every game, and him and Gula were also building a connection because he was a great outlet for Allison to pass to and build alongside with the. But now he has been suffering, especially with injury. But now with the personnel around him, he doesn't have anyone to play the ball with. Because sometimes you see the disconnect from defensive midfielder, and he's looking up, and it's just basically, oh, I have to basically kick it up and hope for the best.
Yeah, and you
And
saw
if
that in the
with
past match too.
Yeah, and with the system potentially changing to that, because I don't think it's gonna be a possession based system, because clearly the players don't want that.
Mm-mm. Just chalk it
So
up, counterattack, and win the second ball.
yeah, and I think he's gonna suffer greatly for it because that's what a great aspect of his game.
And it sucks because to you, it's more than likely gonna turn into English football, which is just heave it up. Premier League
Yeah,
football, long ball, long ball.
yeah. And then what sucks is the fans will surely turn on him because there's so many idiotic fans that don't know ball, and they're just gonna be he's gonna become a casualty of it, where they're gonna blame him. He's like, well, what does he do? He's just tall and he just kicks it up. I'm like, but you're missing the whole point of what he was, but he's been diminished to this role. And then just basically other young players that won't get the roles because the Eagles have taken over and they can have all of the power. Like all the players with like the power in the squad are basically going to get their friends to play with. and the younger players are going to struggle. Like Masantono, unfortunately, might not get a lot of game time now, and
Hmm.
that's going to diminish his game time.
And then what happens with the next season? You wanted your boy into the squad, Nico Paz, and just
I'm
gonna
sure
hurt even more.
I'm sure they're going to bring him, but I don't know how that's going to work out, especially with depending on who the coach is at the time. Because listen, I hope that Arbeloa turns out to be the miracle saver and like turns the season around and is able to bring me a Champions League, a La Liga title. But do I think that's going to happen? No. And
Or,
I
oh, go ahead, my bad.
uh out and then if they do bring Jurgen Klopp, I think it's gonna be another mess, and we're just gonna he's gonna be fired soon after because you know what? I think it's gonna be the same thing with Xabi Alonso, and then we're gonna be in a situation all over again until Perez decides, you know what? I have to take power away from the players, and then I have to think about this squad structure that hasn't built properly because ever since we lost Toni Kroos and Luka Modric, the midfield has been lost. And you know what's another funny thing? A bunch of players turned on Xabi Alonso because Luka Modric was let go, and they blamed it all on him when it was also the board that
Yeah, they
wanted
didn't
him
want to
gone.
renew him.
Yeah, they didn't want him in the room because he was too old because they wanted to go with the younger players. And they put all that blame on Xabi Alonso.
This is what happens when you play politics with Real Madrid, dude. You're never gonna win because they have so much power in the media. But yeah, and as far as winners, who do you think the winner is? Probably Vinicius, right?
Vinicius because he's gonna start every game. Mbappe is gonna start every game. And then probably Valverde, Jude, and Rodrigo. Because these guys were part of the players that, were struggling to fit into the old Xabi, the beginning of the year, Xabi Alonso's formation, starting 11 style, whatever. Because remember, Valverde, he looked lost in Xabi Alonso's system, and we called him out. And now that they've been reverting back to the old system, he's been looking better, and I think he's gonna get more game time and look better now with the this type of system.
And it's so crazy because you guys came from that Real Betis games who I thought Real Madrid was gonna struggle with, or at least like not have an easy time with, but you guys won so easily, 4-0. What's it called? Gonzalo Garcia got a hat trick, no issue. That was Xavi ball to its best, and now literally a week and a half later, he's gone. It's so dumb. I think it's lack of direction from Perez. He's getting senile and senile, and he's not knowing what to do anymore. Just cares too much about the money.
Yeah, it's just so idiotic, really, because really this could have all been solved if they just supported Xabi Alonso and brought in the players that he needed, and also gave him the power to have control over this dressing room because you're just making it spiral out of control even more now because the players know they can do this to a coach. You gave them that power even more.
Yep.
Now there's who's going to stop them? They're like, well, we did this to Xabi Alonso. Who are you?
Yeah, we have two bad games without Arbeloa. Let's get him out. We don't want him. I don't want to play as a left winger. I don't want to play as a striker anymore. I want to play left winger. That's the next big thing. Uh, any other things about Real Madrid, Jesse? I know you had a whole list.
No, I covered most of it. There's a bunch of details, but I'm tired. I feel, listen, I
You look
understand.
deflated, dude.
Yeah, and because I feel like I was one of the few that like truly understood what Xabi Alonso was going through and what was needed for this club. And there's so many other people that are just blinded with getting titles and like making headlines just by following the current wave and making it worse. Because for years I've been saying we need new defense, we need more center backs, we need a new right back, we need a midfielder. I've been calling for a midfielder to take control and help this creativity of the squad for years now, for
Since Luka
3 years.
Modric and and Toni Kroos, when they were still in the squad, I know you were asking for a replacement forever.
Yeah, and yet it's been 4 years now, and we still don't have them, and we're probably still not going to get them.
Don't worry,
I've
everything
been,
will be solved next summer, Jesse. They're gonna sign Haaland. How about that?
and what's worse is like the current transfer approach has been changed drastically. Where like, oh, we go for like free agents, even though they might not fit with the current need of the squad. or they're tr just trying to force another big fish and forget about what the current needs are.
Yeah. And it's tough too, because again, you sell the player on the idea of a project, and it's gonna be hard now with especially with the lack of direction they're going to. It depends all on Arbeloa how he turns out to be. But it's gonna be hard for a center back or even a defender midfielder to be like, do I want to go there? They don't have a lack of direct, they don't have a right course of action. Whereas if like they have a competing offer with Barcelona, they'll be like, I'd rather go to Barcelona because they know what they're doing and they know the direction they're heading in.
Well, also, if you're a player, you just gotta remember that you gotta fit in. Because
Hmm.
if you're not part of the front squad, you might just get frozen out, and then you're just wasting away.
That is true. It's becoming a friendship club.
And I called it because I said this is the problem with Mbappe. Because I'm not just playing Mbappe. Sure, he was a part of it, and I'm not diminishing the role that he had in it. But it wasn't just him. But when coming into the club, I said the problem is there's not leaders in the club room right now because they've all left or retired. And it's just getting worse and worse because the players currently are not fit for leadership. Because
No, I,
before we had, Benzema, Ronaldo, Ramos, and all these players who hold the players in check, they're all gone now.
yeah. And you thought Valverde was going to be the one because I know you've said it before, but it looks like Valverde isn't the one because, of course, the whole Shopee thing, he wasn't buying into the system. So he's becoming part of the problem as far as like ego.
Hmm.
But you just got to see who steps up and becomes that leader because Courtois, I thought Courtois would have played a part as the leader, but clearly it's not.
Well, also there's only so much one person or like a couple people can do if like you're just talking to a brick wall and these people don't listen.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But hey, I'm not gonna wish you luck, Jesse. You know, I'll do it for sportsmanship. Clearly, Mbappe doesn't have any, so good luck with your squad. We'll see what happens because I know Barcelona and Real Madrid face each other in what?
In March
In
or
March,
April.
March
I
or
think
April.
April. I think April towards the end.
So again, good luck. We'll see where you guys are at that point in time. I'm definitely gonna be watching Real Madrid matches. I already do to hate watch, but I'm gonna pay close attention to see how they play these next couple games with Arbeloa as a manager and see what
Also,
kind of changes there are.
don't forget, there's still an injury crisis still going on. There's no defenders still because they've all been injured. And we play on Wednesday. I think over the next 10 periods, we have like 5 games. So that should be great.
Hmm.
Find out what the players are made of
Yeah, because isn't the Champions League this
next week.
next week?
That's Wednesday. I think we play Copa del Rey. Then we play La Liga Saturday. And then I think Tuesday or Wednesday we play Champions League. And then we play again
So yeah,
uh
you
the weekend.
this one's that you play
But
Albacete
yep,
away, then you
yeah,
play
Copa.
Levante at home,
Yep.
Monaco, Villarreal, Benfica. So
Yeah.
oh my God. Wait, how many matches in January? There's still 5 matches left in January.
I told you we have a packed schedule
Yeah,
the
so
next 10 days.
it's do or die for Real Madrid. One thing I did like, the semifinal, Barcelona definitely rotated against what is it?
Athletic.
Athletic Club. So we do have that. Ruben Bargi is definitely going to be playing Copa del Rey and we getting playing time, but Barcelona does have a tough matchup against Real Sociedad away. So we'll see how they do. But yeah, it's looking good right now for Barcelona. They gained formed ever since that Chelsea match. I think Hansi Flick definitely said that there's going to be a new Barcelona squad, and there has been, what is it, 11 games in a row that they've won. So it's looking good so far right here.
But yeah, I just want to wish luck to my coach, Xabi Alonso. I know it didn't work out, unfortunately. I wish you the best. Hopefully, you go and kill it at your next coaching job, and then in a different situation in the future, hopefully you come back and prove all these idiots wrong.
And with that, that concludes the episode. Jesse with the heart warm message. And again, I would want to say I was scared of Xabi Alonso being the coach of Real Madrid because I know what he could do. But I know the powers above him weren't going to let him do what he wanted to do. And that's why I predicted him to get fired. Eagles got on the way, and that's what destroys a club. So Vinicius and Mbappe keep doing what you're doing. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the episode.